Well, hey, Sean, thank you for joining me today.
So far, so welcome,
We're
Pastor.
glad that we can do this today. And hello, everybody. We
Yes,
hope
hello.
that, somebody's getting something out of this because I'm telling you, every single one of us as human
Mhm.
beings, there's going to be challenges in our life where we really need to get a little bit of help over something. If it's our
Yes.
diet, our exercise program, the casino. Oh my gosh, we haven't
Well,
even talked about that
no,
one.
no, not yet, not
It's
yet.
just not about addiction. So a substance abuse addiction. So, I'm Joanne, Pastor Joanne Landry. This is Sean.
Yes,
And we just love having this conversation. If
of
there might be
course,
somebody out there
of
that
course.
maybe needs a little encouragement.
Well, I came to you today, and you said, How are you doing, Sean?" And I said, "I got a lot of discernment." And then she said, and you asked me why, and I said, "I don't know. I can't put my
Mhm.
finger on it.
Mhm.
Maybe it's the times that we're going through, but I noticed that there's a lot of stress out there in this world
Yes.
today,
Yes.
and people need to realize that the only comfort we're going to get is from God.
It's from
You know,
him. That's right.
and and like I'm saying, I just I just don't feel right today, and
Yeah.
like you told me, you said, "Don't you let the devil steal your joy, Sean,"
Mhm.
because you're a light, and I do see that. I
Yes.
do see that because people follow me, like I was telling you, and and God tells me it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's something that they're trying to figure out
Good.
within
Yeah.
themselves about
Right.
what they see in you, you know,
We
and
want
it's
to help as many as we
yes,
can.
yes,
That's true, Sean.
and I'm not trying to be, you know, avoid them or anything like that, but
Right.
I do need time. I do need
Mm-hmm.
time to myself to figure
Yes.
things out
Regroup.
and regroup. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
recharge,
Mm-hmm.
get spiritually motivated
Sure.
again. And so
Decompress.
yes,
There's a
yes,
lot going on in
yes.
our world. I mean, depression. I mean, everybody's talking about, well, what's going on in this government thing? Thanksgiving's right around the corner. And now with all the airports, I don't know if you've seen any of that.
Oh yeah, the
But that
planes
that
falling
was that
and
was just crazy. Just so many people
yes.
waiting for hours, and then they get canceled.
Hmm.
They said they had canceled over 800 of the flights. So there's just so much going on in our world. And I was just sharing with Sean. We
Hmm.
are the light of the world through Christ Jesus. And the joy of the Lord is our strength. And we have to fight through,
Yes.
because if we give in to what's going on, it's real easy to get oppressed in our world. And
Mhm.
but not only that, we got to encourage each other right now,
Yes.
Sean, because
Yes.
there is a lot of tension and oppression in our world right
Yes,
now.
ma'am. Because like you asked me, you said, were you thinking about using it? And I said, no, not
Thank
at
God.
all.
Yes.
I said, not at all. I said, that's why I stay so busy. It keeps me out of my hand. Idle hands is the devil's playground. I
Mm-hmm.
said, no. I said, but I was riding around Albuquerque,
Yeah.
and just noticing how they're doing the homeless. They're just shuffling them around. I mean, they did a whole sweep of the downtown area, and I feel so bad for them because
I
they
know.
just don't have nowhere to go. What are they going to do?
I know. I think the one good thing that's coming to Albuquerque, and that's been here for a minute, is the treatment programs. They're getting them off the street and into the housing.
Hmm.
Even if it's a buddy system, they're off the streets.
Hmm.
And I heard there was a brand new one that was open too. I think somebody said it was the old Radisson Motel.
Oh yeah.
So they said that was a new one, plus State of the Heart Vibe. I
Okay.
mean, if we can get more of those opened
Yes.
up. So I really hope, who the next mayor is, if it's going to continue to be Mayor
Yeah.
Keller, or if it's going to be, Darren White, and I believe there's one other gentleman, that they really see that homeless people are human beings,
Yes. Yes.
and we hate it when we have to tell them don't camp on the sidewalk in front of us or
Oh
on the
yes.
street, because the neighbors are going to get mad and blame us for it.
Exactly.
But half of these people, we don't even know who they are.
Because
they don't utilize our services, so it's really not about us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course I do, Pastor. Because, like I said, we almost had to shut down again this week. Because they will not listen, and it's a shame because they don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
And the church is supposed to be the storehouse.
I wish
Doors
all
are
the
always
churches
open.
would waken up.
Yes, this is just not our problem. This is the world's problem.
Right.
Somebody's got to lead this, but then there's got to be discretion and and a plan to make this work.
Yes, out of the box. I mean,
and I was so proud of you.
Yeah.
I was so proud of you this week. You said, "Look, I'm fed up. I've asked these people to move, and they will not move. So I'm going to come up with another plan." We are still handing out food. We gave out so much food yesterday. It was ridiculous.
And it kept coming, huh?
It was ridiculous.
I mean, we're the most beautiful. I mean, we had some meals that were donated to us, and there was roast beef and potatoes and beautiful carrots. I mean, it was beautiful. And then here comes the ice cream for dessert. I mean, then there's cheesecake and carrot cake.
They were mad at us because we had to force them to move, but they don't understand that had they not moved, we could get shut down.
If we're not here, who are we going to help? And why are we doing this? For them.
For them, but they don't understand
I know. And it's the drug too that fogs their brain and makes them go into self-victimization. And a lot of them they're still in pre-contemplation. This says, and this is from my book. There's some of you that don't know, but I am an author. And I did write a faith-based treatment program book, and it's full of activities for people who just don't want to go see therapists, or they don't want to go to ANA, but yet they want to get a little help. And it's also good for churches that would like to create their own program in their church. And it's also good for families that really want to learn about addiction, so they can kind of understand what's going on with their family. So I do have, this stages of change in here. And it says pre-contemplation. It's a stage where you might think that I have no problem. I don't need a change. It's everybody's, it's everybody else's problem. It's not mine. That old Billy Joel song, go ahead with your own life, but leave me alone. So we get there. We get offended, if somebody talks about it. And then because of episodes that have occurred in life, we're forced to examine ourselves. And we might think, well, I sure am making a mess of my life. Maybe I do need something, need God. Maybe I should go back to church. Maybe I should look up where some of these self-help, NAAA programs are, or maybe there might be something going on in the church to help people with their drug addiction, So we talked a little bit about those two last time.
Yeah, but Pastor, a lot of them feel like the world did this to them.
Yeah, victimization.
The world owes them something. They have to want to change.
Yeah.
Nobody wakes up in the morning and say, you know what? I think I want to be homeless and a drug addict today.
Right.
Nobody does that.
And
but this drug is so powerful and it's so elusive that it steals everything away a little at a time, and you don't realize where you're at until you're there.
That's right. And you feel that loss, your children. How many of the folks on the streets that we speak with, they have no contact with their kids. Their kids have been taken by family members because they can't parent them anymore, or CYFD, or some of them have lost their kids completely. I mean, so you have that. We've heard from people that said, I had a home.
Yeah.
I had cars. I had this great job. I was, professors. At college. College professors are on the streets, homeless. People don't realize that they look at these people and they think, oh man, they just deserve it. That's the way they want to live their life. Well, they get caught. You get stuck in this thing, But
Mhm.
hopefully during the winter time is a good time where some of them
Yes.
are willing to say, hey, I froze to death just about last night,
Yeah.
me and my animals.
Mhm.
We got to do something. And maybe this is the contemplation that'll move them into the determination.
Determination. Yes.
Yeah. And that's
Yes.
when an individual will make definite changes and commit themselves to get the help,
Exactly,
and
but
it
they have
leads
to
them.
reach out,
Yeah.
just like Pastor. I admire you so much because you can look at me and tell them when there's something wrong with me,
Well, I
and
know you,
not and
Sean.
and not most people will not take that time to look at another individual and say, "Are you okay today? Are you really
Hmm.
okay?
Yeah.
What's going on?"
You have the
You
same
know,
gift. You do that
you
with
know.
people out here too.
And that takes a special individual to realize that somebody's in pain but they just don't know how to
Right.
explain it or express it.
Right.
And like I say, I just thank you so much because you know I try and stay strong for others, you know
Right.
and like I said, like I told you this morning, I said I just had to get away. I had to
Hmm.
figure out what
And
was
go
going
do
on
it.
with me, and that's
Yes.
that determination part.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
everything in my mind was telling me, I don't want to
Mhm.
do the podcast today. I don't want to do the podcast today because I'm not going to
Yeah.
have anything good to say because that's
Aw.
the devil.
Yeah.
That's the devil
Right.
trying to
Rob you.
yes. And I said, no, this is the time I should be talking.
Yes. We got to hold on to the things that are dear, Sean,
Yes, and
that are
that's that.
building our self esteem, our self image,
That.
and again,
Mhm,
helping that reaching out. Yesterday, giving all that food away,
mhm,
to people, and it was great because, I wish more people would come too
mhm.
because,
Yes.
we've got fresh potatoes, fresh onions,
Oh, still
mac
got
and
a storage.
cheese,
Still got a storage
and
full.
that, yeah, and that still
And
is on the big delivery on Tuesdays.
and we still and
Breads.
we still had enough left over to where after
Yeah,
recovery we took it out
yeah,
to the neighbors and
yeah,
do you need anything?
yeah.
Do you
Go give it away. Why
Yes,
why hoard
why
it?
yes,
Why keep it here
yes.
when we don't, when we're not going to need that. So we're getting, and then plus we put the table back out
Mhm.
where there's going to be, more vegetables and fruits and whatever is going to be delivered to us,
Mhm.
it can go out.
Yes.
So it's
And-
great. It's great.
but that's the see that's the determination in you. Even though you had to be strict, you still are loving. You still are kind.
Well, we're trying.
You still are determined to help these people, and that's a very rare quality
Well, thank
that
you,
you
Sean. I
see in
appreciate
people.
that. But they need help, and I see a little bit deeper.
Hmm.
And I can't look at the conditions of what's going on around me too much.
Hmm.
Because if I did, I would shut the doors and say, mm-mm,
No
us
more,
four
huh?
and no anymore. I'm good. But I
Yeah.
can't do that because it's something God has called us to
To
do.
do, yes.
And as long as He's happy,
Yeah.
I can't look at man's, oh, are you going to say thank you to me today?
Yeah.
Or this or that. And
Yeah.
that's not what it's about
No,
because,
we were talking about
yeah,
that
as
yesterday.
long
Yeah.
as the Lord is happy with me,
Yes, we were
I'm
talking
happy,
about that. Well, we said, you said, I said, Pastor, this was a lot of work, and I said, and they don't even appreciate it. And you said, you know what? But we do this for God.
That's
And I
it.
said, as long as Jesus
Yeah,
he sees us, I don't
that's
care.
it.
I don't care. I
That's
really don't care. If they
it.
don't appreciate it, they do. As long as God sees what we're doing,
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful thing. You're feeding my people.
Well, and that's what He's called us to do. So we're just
Yeah.
doing what He said to do, And I tell people, thank God, give Him praise.
Yes,
Because
it's
He's
not us.
bringing,
It's not
and
us.
we
It's
get the
Him.
most beautiful people that bring us the most beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
I mean it. And the homeless people around here, they got it rocking. They dress nice. You can't even tell, half of them, that really, really, because they see all the clothes and
Yeah.
even the dogs have their little
Yeah.
outfits going on,
Leashes, dog food.
Yeah,
I mean,
dog
we're
sweaters. I mean,
yes,
they're styling
we
here.
are so blessed, and the neighborhood is so blessed because there's going to be a very hard
Yeah,
shortages this year with
I know.
Thanksgiving.
I
Everybody's calling
know.
for a blackout on Thanksgiving
Yeah.
to after December 1st, and you know, and all of that is fine and dandy. But
Hmm.
what about now?
Now,
These
and
people
it's
are
leading
hurting
up.
now.
It's
Yeah,
leading up because look at how beautiful it
these,
is here.
yeah,
The sun is still shining and it's beautiful. You know, really, even at night, we've still been doing recovery out in the open
outside.
air
Yeah.
tent. But food surrounding us, everybody has something to eat, to
Yeah.
wear. And but when the freezing temperatures come
Yeah,
out
when the sun
and
goes down. Yeah.
yeah, it's
It
going
get
to be
it,
hard for them because they have no blankets. I mean, they say the city took everything again, Pastor.
oh
You
yeah.
know, so we are collecting the blankets. We got the gloves and the
Hmm.
beanies, which is
And
great, and the
yeah,
socks.
and we got some
And
winter blankets in
yes,
yesterday
so
too.
we
So
got we have the little thank God for I always call them Desert Light, but it's not. It's a Rio Rancho Methodist Church, and they are just so precious.
yes,
Little
yes
Wanda
it
and
is.
Gord and their team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they always come through for us. I
Yes,
mean,
every
they
time.
once a month they bring us all of the delicious
Sack lunches
luncheon
and
meat,
yeah,
sack
get
lunches,
that.
chili dogs.
Yeah.
You know, all those that we can give out and make nice meals for
Mm-hmm.
chips, sugar,
Yeah.
coffee.
We have so much support here that God is not going to let this close.
Yeah.
And this is not city ran.
No,
This
it's
is this is God
100%
ran.
God run.
This
Yeah.
is God
So
ran,
we're not
and
shutting
He's
down
not.
or doing
He's
anything.
and it just boggled everybody's mind. Remember when COVID was here and the
Hmm.
government said you got to shut down. This lady here, she said, "I'm not shutting my doors." We were the
And
only
we got
one.
the blessing from the
Yes.
city and the counties. We're,
Well, I'm not shut down,
and then we
and
had to
she meant
wrestle everybody at the 6 feet
it.
distance. So we drew these big flowers with chalk and we said, okay, you stand here, okay? Well, don't tell me what to do. I'm like, oh gosh.
If
But
you,
it was nice that
yes,
everybody else started,
yes,
emphasizing on that too, because then we didn't look like we were just,
yeah,
harassing people.
hmm,
But yeah, we even did communion. Did you see
yes,
that?
yes,
Star
mm,
cars that were driving by, we were giving them
yeah,
communion and
hmm.
as they were lining up. So we got through it.
But we're talking about determination,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy getting to this point that we are. It
No.
was a struggle.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
hard.
Yeah.
It was hard, and it was
Hmm.
very hard for her.
Yep.
Fighting the city to get the
Permits.
shelter going.
Yeah. 14
know,
departments.
it
We
was
had to please all them.
it was really
Yeah.
really rough.
We
But
did
the
it.
blessings,
Yep.
the blessings that's coming from
Thank
behind
God.
it.
Thank
Oh,
God.
it's not about the food. It's not about the clothes. It's about bringing people
That's
to
right.
God.
To the Lord.
You know,
That's our biggest, most greatest objective is to bring a soul to Jesus Christ. And we're glad that we can have a shelter and do all the things we do. But
yeah,
when they're here and when we're having our meetings, the presence of God comes
yes,
and starts touching on and
because we
tugging on
can't save them.
lives.
Only
No,
He can save them.
that's
But we
nothing.
can, we
No,
can, we
we don't
can
get no
bring them.
praise for that.
Yeah,
No way. We don't want the praise for that.
no,
This is his work and he gets all the glory for
yes,
that.
ma'am.
And we're just honored to be his servants,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
he says, if you want to be, great in God's kingdom, learn to be
A servant.
you mean not
Yes.
driving a brand new car and having
yes.
mansions? No,
What is that about? What is that
no,
about?
be a servant of all.
I mean, even
You know,
Jesus washed
he
people's
was,
feet.
oh, he just
You
did.
know,
He was a
what
servant.
what
We
a
had a
perfect example.
we had a new lady and she was so excited. She just cried because she was helping a little, he was already of age and he could barely push his walker.
Mhm.
And she said, honey, you want a food box? And he said, sure. So
Oh
he came
yeah.
over and she just started picking everything up and says, "Would you like this? No.
Oh
Would you
yeah.
like this? Thank you. Yes." And she said just tears started just to roll down his eyes, and he
Yeah.
was so grateful.
Yeah.
And she got blessed. That's the
Oh.
point I was making.
Mm.
Serving, and she
Yes.
just said nothing can compare to what I felt today. And I said, "Yeah, it's right. Why do you think we do it? It's addicting.
That's what we do, you know.
It's addicting to do it." And yeah,
And
you
it's
know,
hard.
we're gonna go through the
Yeah.
bumps.
Yeah, it's hard.
You
It's
know,
hard,
and,
but we
just
get through it.
just like this stage, we're determined to make some changes, and there's going to be a lot of bumps
Oh,
that you're
yes.
going to go through. We're not talking about easy. This is
Mm.
not an easy thing because all of our old nature always wants to tell us. I was thinking earlier today how funny it is for New Year's.
Uh-huh.
Everybody goes and gets that Planet Fitness $10 special.
Oh yeah.
And they're all like, "I'm going to go lose 20 pounds this new year." And then they're like, "Well, where's all the people?" Or how many people buy the treadmill and the
Yeah.
bikes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got two.
Yo, I know.
Okay. And they give them to me, right? And they're expensive. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it. I'll just put it in my room and I can bicycle while I'm watching TV or something." Right? No. It just collects dust. But that's our human nature.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's like,
Yes,
"Oh, I
ma'am.
don't feel like it today," or "Oh man, I got ice cream on my mind. I don't want to just do protein today. That's boring," but
Yeah.
it pays off. My doctor was ecstatic. She says, "You're doing great. Stay on your, what you're doing. It's working."
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of work,
Yes.
really,
Yes,
because
it
man,
is.
the food we get in here,
Oh my. Whew.
I mean, cheesecakes and carrot cakes and ABC bakery cakes and cookies, and it's hard when you see all that,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's and everybody will also get the reward too.
Yeah.
When you give up the drug, when you give up the casino, when you give up, all the foods that is just going to end up killing us eventually,
Mhm.
and putting
Yes.
on the pounds on us. And you could still be thin and
Yeah.
maybe keep burning,
Mhm.
the sugars and all that stuff. You don't look like from the outside that you would have a problem,
Mhm.
but we know what we're
Oh, yeah.
doing on the inside.
Yeah.
And your blood pressure's telling you something's not right.
Exactly.
Your sugar meter's saying, uh-uh.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's just times that when we have to weigh things out and say, what am I going to do about
Yeah.
this? Okay, so let's move on into the action stage. Okay. So we
Action.
went from determination to say, I'm determined to do something.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and then, you just got to kind of throw some stuff out,
No,
start brainstorming,
like
what
me.
could I do?
Like me this morning, like I said, I had to get away. I had things to do. I had to go, get me some cigarettes. I had to go run to a body bank. I had things I had to do because I've been so busy here. But all that contemplating and all that being down on myself, more poor me, and I got to see on the bus, how other people were living, and and for me to sit up and say poor me, when there's always someone out there
Going through more than we do.
worse
That's
than
right.
you are.
That's right.
It's humbling. It's humbling, and when you call me, that's and you said, "Where are you, Sean?" I hope I didn't work you too hard. And I
That
said-
was an hour
and I said,
before, but
and I
still,
said, and I
like,
said, "No, Pastor, I'm across the street," because I knew
Okay.
I had to come back and
well,
do
I'm
this
glad you
podcast.
did. I'm
You
glad
know,
you did.
Because this is the time. You can't. Sometimes you cannot do things just because you want to. That's a determination part.
Mhm.
The action part is
Mhm.
getting it done.
That's right. And
Getting it done.
see, in my case, I knew that my action stage was I needed to go to church. I needed to read the Bible. I needed to change my music. And it just worked out so beautifully because the Lord is going to back us up 100%.
Every time.
He knows what you're doing. He knows what you're going through. He knows, this is you. This is going to work for you. and bringing me here into this church helped me tremendously. And like what
Me
you
too.
what you
Me
were
too.
what you were saying is you don't always feel like it.
No.
I would just sit there and think, well, I'll just stay home with Jerry and watch TV and hang out with him. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. And then I'd catch myself and
Yeah.
I'd say, no, you need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
God has something for you in that service.
Mm-hmm.
And every time that I would come and just listen, even though my little girl was a terror, she was in the terrible twos, and I have to chase her around, and the elder ladies would look at me like that's a naughty cat, But I didn't care. I was still going to bring her, and then she got bigger and she calmed down. But anyways, the thing of it is that I needed to be in here. I needed to see and hear what God was trying to tell me that was going to build me up.
Exactly.
That was going to help me to stay on track.
Yes, because he's not. He will never lead you in the wrong way.
Never. No.
Never. And and that's where my mind was headed. That's where I was going.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I said, this is not about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. This is way bigger than me.
Right.
I was called to do something, and I'm going to get it done. That's action.
There you
That's
go.
action.
That's action.
And
you came in.
Being a man of your word and doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
That's action.
And I could see the transformation from the time you came in to now. I could see you, you're laughing again, and you're like, we could do this,
Of course we can.
But it's up to us, we have to get help. We have to come to that place, and we say, this is not, I like what you said, this is not about me. And I know that I need to put myself in a positive place where I know that I'm going to get some help.
Yeah.
Because really getting help, a lot of people don't want to do it.
Yes.
I've seen people that, they get caught up in the casino. They go from crack, or they go from a drug or an alcohol to something more.
Yes.
I knew a man one time, and he won $10,000 at the casino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then that same night, he lost his truck and his house. He signed over the deed, and oh my gosh, so we can get ourselves in a lot of mess.
Yes.
With the different behaviors, and but those casinos are still going to be there. So you're going to have to say, I got to do everything I can not to ever go back there again. I have to get some help. I have to let my family help me. I have to become, honest with what's going on.
And you have to change your attitude.
And change you got to change your course too, because if you're going to pass that casino on your way home from work, you better find another route if you can.
Yes.
Just like the bar. I need to stay out of the bar. I got to quit drinking and driving. I just got busted. I just got out of jail. Don't go near that bar.
Do you remember when I first started pastoring, you said, you do a whole line of walking, Sean. How come you don't take the bus? And I said, Pastor, every time I walk by a 7-Eleven or Walgreens or something like that, I said, I don't even go on Central. I'll be walking through all the back neighborhoods. And you said, why? I said, because they trigger me.
Yeah, exactly. I knew somebody too when he said Walgreens.
Yeah.
One of our friends, when he quit drinking, that was his hangout, man. That Walgreens is where he got his liquor, and he'd say he had to go completely in a whole different direction.
Yes.
Because we're triggered, and we got to learn about triggers. We got to figure out what's making me go there.
Yes.
There's something going on right now in my heart. Is it the money? Is it payday? Am I already plotting and planning on Thursday what I'm going to do?
Exactly.
Maybe I'll create a fight with my wife or my girlfriend, and then we'll separate, and then I can go do what I'm going to do. There's a whole lot of deception,
and that's what
and our negative behaviors.
So you have to have an action plan to avoid all of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're trying to say, because like I said, the safest place I feel is right here.
Yeah.
Because I'm not into me. I'm
That's
into
right.
serving the people.
Yes, this is our safe place.
But when I'm by myself and in my head, if I'm not talking to God directly, in my praise mode and
Right.
like I
Anything
said,
could happen.
my idle hands,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
boy,
yes.
and I can't do that.
And just
And
like
I
that,
can't do that.
boom, we're
Yes,
back there.
because I'm still learning.
Yeah,
I'm still learning
we
about
have to.
triggers and
Right.
triggers and more triggers and more triggers, and it takes a long
Yes, it does.
time
It's
for you
hard.
to figure out why does that girl make me feel this way?
Yeah,
I mean, now it's not about the addiction; it's about the lust, the seeing with the
right.
eyes, the hearing with the ears.
Yes.
There is so
That's why
much
all of
work.
this is not
It-
always about substance
yes,
abuse.
there is so much different work
Yeah.
because that's a trigger. That's
Yeah.
a trigger, and like I said, I'm only 3.5. I'm still crawling.
Yep. And food is it for me, and when I was told I was borderline diabetic,
Mhm.
and man, I was like, but I can't eat protein all the time. It grosses me out. I was telling myself all this, right?
Yes.
And I had to go through a whole disciplinary type of deal. Okay, then I'll go 3 days high protein, and maybe I'll have a day of just carbs and eat whatever I want. That didn't work either. So I had to find all kinds of ways, that.
Yeah.
And now I do 1 day protein, 100%. I mean, my sugars were 124 coming out here. That's normal. That's
Okay.
normal.
Okay.
Okay, at 128 is when you go border. When you go, okay. But anything can throw you. Fruit, anything,
Mhm.
tomatoes, anything can throw you into high sugar.
Mhm.
Okay, especially when we have an issue with diabetes.
Mhm.
So, but when I'm doing so much better now, and I'm like, oh yeah, today's my protein day, no big deal.
Uh-huh.
And then we have the big dinner at the end, and everybody wants to bring me coffee with a piece of cake in it.
Yes.
And I said, nope, this is protein day, but on my sugar day, I'm going to do it, because that is helping me maintain what is working for me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Don't go doing something that's off the wall. It's not going to help you.
Or something that is going to be too demanding.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Because it's not you're not going to do it.
You're not going to do it. No.
Don't tell yourself, well, I'll only eat half carbs one day and protein the rest of the night.
Yeah.
It's still going to mess up, So I don't know. You got to figure out what's going to do for your diet, for your drug of choice. How you want to quit the casino, your exercise program, whatever it is.
Yeah.
We are lying.
Yes.
Lying,
Yes.
smoking. I mean, we don't say the S word here. And it's because we don't want to be judgmental with people, but we also want them to know, this affects your heart, your blood pressure, your arteries, all this stuff.
You stay on me constantly.
And but I get it.
But she loves me. She does it out of love.
Well, yes, we do, and we do. We love each other here, which is beautiful, and we have to talk about it because, in my case, I had to quit everything.
Mm-hmm.
I had to quit the smoking. Because that wanted me to drink.
Mm-hmm.
I had to change my rock and roll music.
Mm-hmm.
Because all that wanted me to get me to party, to smoke pot. Then I started with meth and more drinking, and forget it.
And
I was a mess.
Yeah.
So when I made that change after the Spirit of God, something in the 70s, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was watching Jesus Revolution last night.
Uh-huh.
And with Chuck Smith, the Calvary Chapel, how God had used this man. I love Chuck Smith and Raul Reese. And, they were just so beautiful. And I cut my teeth on them as a baby Christian.
Okay.
And I would listen to them. But, the 70s was just a very special time where the Spirit of God, Pastor Alice got saved there in the 70s. So did I. It was very special.
That was way back with Billy Graham. And they used to have so many
revivals
and everything going on there. I remember back then. Do you remember all of the J on the mountains in Volcano Cliffs, and then there was an E it used to say Jesus that
Oh,
goes around. Do you
yeah.
remember? And that's just disappeared.
Wow.
You know, and I was sitting out in the yard yesterday, and I was looking up at the mountain, and I said, I see the J.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
See, that's the things
Yeah.
that you miss.
Yep.
Being so busy, being
Mm-hmm.
so so into yourself, into your own thing,
Right.
that you forget the
Yeah.
things that were really special to
Yep.
you.
And the
You know,
things
and
of
that little
God, because
special,
He
yeah.
changes the atmosphere. You could be mad, angry, frustrated. Because I know if I wake up and I allow myself to be in a bad mood for whatever,
Hmm.
I notice my son. He's got the same little spirit in him. So I'm like, I better catch myself here. Change yourself,
Yeah.
Joanne. You better get praying, get
Yeah.
in the right attitude,
Mhm.
because it's almost contagious.
Yes,
If
yes.
if we're tensed, the staff,
Hmm.
I noticed that we're going to
Yes,
find some tensed moments in here.
yes.
I remember I went into this week, maybe last week. I went over to Home Depot to get some stuff, and I walked into the Christmas area and I saw the lights on
Hmm.
and the trees, and I'm like, oh look, and I got so happy, and I said, we're going to put our stuff up
Yeah.
too, so it's been fun just being able to try to help these people that are going through so much, find a little
Yes,
bit of peace,
yes, because
because man,
it's
it's going to
really
get
rough.
worse,
It's really
brother.
rough out there,
Yeah, it
and
is.
and they're going to need
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit of hope, a
right.
little bit of faith,
Yep,
and just a little bit of joy.
yeah,
If not for the whole day, just for a few minutes.
right. And that's why, I said, let's start something for the women, and call it beautiful.
Hmm.
You're beautiful and wonderfully
Yes,
made, and we tell them that, and we bring them
yes.
lotions, or I have chapstick, and we got some
Lipstick,
for
and
all of
yes.
the men, for all of them. We got the winter bags that we're going to be
Oh yes,
passing out,
yes.
and those are the ones that we got
Hmm.
yesterday, from our beautiful Rio Rancho brothers and sisters.
Yes, yes.
I want to call them Desert Light, but I know it's something high desert. High desert, yay! High desert. We love Wanda and Gordon, and
Very
oh my
special. Oh,
gosh,
they're
these
very
people are
special.
so adorable.
Very special.
I just love them. They're so good to us.
Oh yes, they are.
And man, they make life easier for us,
Oh
right?
yes.
And then the Civitan Club.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my, I think they're called the Sandia Civitans.
Hmm.
Man, those people are beautiful. They've helped us help us with the roof.
Hmm.
We're getting that roof and it's big. It goes way. But Jerry Joe, what he's doing right now is he's working on the borders.
Oh yeah.
And that's where the biggest holes and all that was.
Hmm.
And then we got to wait for it to rain to see if it's going to work. And he wants to
Okay.
do it that way because of the fact that if it if it needs a little bit more in that area, then he have to peel everything back off, and he don't want to have to do that. So
Okay.
he's trying to do it right,
Yeah.
and that's good.
Okay.
But he's doing a great job. But the Civitans, oh my gosh, and then they bring us cup of soup and toilet paper and cups.
Yes.
We got
Yes.
cups. So we just have these beautiful people that help us here in order to make life better for all of those that come here
Yes. Yes. And I
to
mean,
help.
and it's a very special thing because what do they tell? What does God teach? Receive with one and give with the other. I
Yeah.
mean,
Pastor Alice showed us
Pastor
that.
Pastor Alice
Yeah,
you
she
got so
did.
hot at me because I always used to say, no, that's okay,
No,
I'm
that's
fine.
okay,
And she
yeah.
said,
Mhm.
you stop taking
Mhm.
blessings away from people
Mhm.
that is trying to bless you, Sean.
That's right.
And I never understood that, but now I do.
Yep.
And like I said, there's still a lot that I need to learn, and there's still a lot that I need to do.
We
to
all do,
become
though,
better,
Sean. We
to
gotta
become
stay.
better.
We
But
gotta
you
stay
have to,
humble.
yes, but you still have to have an action plan on how you're
Right.
going to get started,
Yes.
and where's it going to take you.
Yes.
What goals are you trying to
Mhm.
accomplish?
That's right. And then have that balance act when you ask yourself, what is working for me? And then if you do fall, relapse back, whatever, you have to say, hey, I know what worked for me. And doing a
Mhm.
journal is really, really healthy
Oh
too,
yeah.
is because it helps you
Mhm.
see where you're at. It helps you say, this didn't work for me. I didn't accomplish anything on that. So maybe I need to now change. What can I do next?
Yes.
That's going to, and never tell somebody you're doing it for them. Please don't do that, because you'll get mad at them
Yeah.
and throw it at their face and
Oh
say,
yeah.
look what I've been doing for you. And you don't even appreciate. No, do it for
For
you.
you.
And
Yes.
then you'll do it for everybody else. And we ran into a gentleman that did that and shared that. Well, I'm doing this for, my mom. And I told him, no, you do it for you. And then you'll be a better son. We can serve God better,
Yes.
when we overcome some of these
Yes.
things, so that, it gets us out of that place
Yes.
of dysfunction
Right.
where we're just creating havoc, not only for ourselves, but for the families. Come on,
Yeah.
how do you think that wife felt when her husband lost the house and the truck that night?
Divorce?
Yeah, yeah, because we fought the casino here. We fought it.
Mhm.
I was already talking to people and to wives that had said, hey,
Mm.
when he goes to the casino, he spends the rent money, and then we fight, and it creates havoc,
Mhm.
But we lost, and the casino came.
Yeah.
But some people, I mean, it's just that
Yeah.
they have no control.
Yeah.
Well, how much did you win? Oh, I won $300 last night. Wow, okay. And how much did you come home with? Oh, they want to change the story.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah,
And
unfortunately.
it's like I say, Pastor, or like you say, this isn't just about addiction. This is about a whole
Everything.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
This is a lifestyle.
Every lifestyle.
This is a whole brand new life. And,
Mhm.
and that's what we're pushing. You can do this because I'm doing it. I'm doing the best I can do, and I'm getting better.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm getting better.
It works.
It would definitely work.
It works. Keep coming back. It works because you're worth it. That's what we always say at the end of our meeting. But anyways, God bless you all, and thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Sean, for coming.
Thank you, Pastor.
We had another good meeting.
You just changed my whole day. Like I said, all I had to do is that action.
That's God's presence, and
yes.
we know, we don't know who listens to us. We don't, it's a handful here, a handful there.
But you know what,
but if it's for
just one, then
that gets a little bit of encouragement
well
or
done.
hope,
well
there
done.
you go.
Well done.
You're worth it to
yes,
us.
You are.
So God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tuning
Bye-bye.
in. Bye.
Thank you, Pastor.
All right, Sean. What are we gonna do? Here it goes.